Okay, right. What have I done? Oh, what haven't I done? Right, let's grab them. I thought it would be nice tonight, as I was kindly invited over, even if I have missed the time. Hi, Susan. I thought it'd be nice to use the tribal collection from Emma. So I've got all the different stamps here, as you can see. And I thought we could look at using them, but in different ways. Mainly to get the most out of them. Hi, Kim. Hi, Charmaine. Hi, Muriel. What I thought, I mean, what I love about this collection is, if I'm going to take the graphics away as such, because if you actually look and don't look at the graphics, but you actually look at the shapes, you've got so many shapes you can work with. So I've got, hi Vanda, hi Muriel, hi Pauline. So we've got like circles. That technically is a circle. We've got more circles in that one. This one here, if you look at it, it's a rectangle. Forget about the curved bits there. We've got squares we can build up. Take the wings away. We've got another rectangle so we can make frames. This one I love. If you stamp this one in green and you put it in a pot, it suddenly is a fern or a piece of grass, a piece of greenery. Charmaine, you do make me giggle. Hi, Shireen. So this one, if you stamp in green, suddenly can look like one of those bottle brush plants that you get in the summer. That's about the only name I can think of it. I'm afraid my knowledge of gardening is limited. And then we've got these here as borders. So we've got these as squares, or look at them, you know, in totally different ways. Cut them up and they become something else. Layer them up and they become something else. And the same with the flowers. So it was really looking at all the different designs that we've got and looking within the shapes to see what other shapes we could use, and take it from there. So what I did was I had a massive stamping session, and it's literally all around me. And some of it I've started to colour. Some of it I brought in some of the dies that came from the same collection as well. And I thought what would be cool is to make a few different sorts of cards up. And my thinking process regarding, you know, different cards and how I work. So I'm just going to put the stamps out the way for the moment. So, just pull my sleeves up. Ugh. So what I did was, so say for example, I'm just going to grab a plain card front. Hi Stacey. So when you have a look at all the different designs that we've got here that from stamps, so when you look at that, it can make different things. It could be wings. You could cut it in half, and if I folded that in half, to me suddenly that becomes a shell, because we've got all the different designs going on there. Layer them up and it suddenly becomes a petal for the start of a plant. So, you know, there's lots of different things you can do. So if I took that one there and I did that one on top of each other, you've now starting to get a border. So if I suddenly put a plant or a flower in the middle, you've got a totally different look to it automatically. So suddenly the shapes become something else. Hi Noreen. And it's looking at the designs and seeing what more you can see within them, if that makes sense. I mean, to me, if you cut along all those little lines there and curl them up, you've got different sorts of petals. So it was really having a play and seeing, you know, what we could make with them. So what I normally do is I do stamp everything out before I colour, and I do my rough design layouts. So I've got this one here, as you can see, I've cut it out, and I would, because it's me, actually cut all those little bits out. And it's thinking that even though the collection's got the name it is, remember, when they're your stamps, they can be whatever you want them to be. And therefore you can colour them and do with them in lots of different ways. So I'm just going to grab a few pens, and look, I'm even being really good and going to use some markers for the moment. And what else do I want? I want, let me think, I want, 4125. Look, I put them all in order, in number order, and can I find them now they're in number order? I should have just left them all muddled. I'd have found them a lot quicker. Right, there we are. Look, they're even in number. So, if we look at this here, and I'm going to try and find the stamp packaging. Da, 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 da. Right, so on the stamp packaging that Emma's done, she's done them in very traditional colours linked to the actual collection. But suddenly, if you change the colour of them or you stamp them onto different colours, they take on a different vibe. So if I start, I'm just going to do quickly. So I'm just going to, and now what I'm doing is as well, is just because you've got all that lovely detail, sorry Emma, it doesn't mean you have to be bamboozled and colour all of that detail. You can go over and just make it one block colour. I don't want that one. What have I got? 4-1. I want 5125. Oh gosh, have I got that one? Oh, there it is, right in front of me. Sorry. I'm losing it. So, if I go over, so I'm just going to colour out the lighter colour. I think I need to change. So let's do that there. So I'm just going to put the lower colour there. Now I'm going to be honest and say I would spend a little bit more time on my colouring. And I want to get 5125. Here we go. So I'm just going to go over this again. And if I had stamped and embossed this in gold, it would have changed the vibe again, because to me, then it takes on, you know, like you see those posh, like wings, or even in bronze would have taken on a different look. Right, so I'm not going to colour everything for you, but I just wanted to show that if you change the colour, I'm going to have to do just bits of it though. Here we go. Let's do that side. So right, I go quiet when I'm colouring, especially with alcohol markers, because I really have to concentrate. I'm a bit like that with pencils. Right, so if I've got that there, suddenly it takes on a totally different look from the packaging, from, you know, from the design. So the stamps can be yours again. So if I colour that up, I've got one of the die cuts here. And I'm sorry, I don't know its name. But that now becomes my border strip. If I suddenly put a flower like that in there, and then this is one of the other flowers, and I was going to punch the centre out, because I thought it's all circular, why not? Put that away. Is my tongue out? When I can actually, no, after years of teaching children, that is one thing I don't do, I must admit. So now, if I suddenly, so I'm starting to build up the composition, so it's going a bit like that. And then if I take the die cut, I can now add a little bit of extra, move that, to go behind there. So it's like building it up in a totally different way. But then I thought, right, what else, you know, what else can you add? What else can you do? And I stamped one of the tiny little border strips. And I've stamped and cut out some of these little elements as well. And I've actually thought, when you look at those, if you suddenly grab a green pen, they can become leaves. So I'm just going to do some quick colouring. It says, and I just want to colour in the centre of those. I'm not being overly fussy, because I like the looseness of the design, you know, like the maze look to the design. And I'm then just going to go over with another colour. So suddenly now this, because it's green, for me, took on a totally different look again. So, and I thought that can now sit on top of there like that. If I colour this here, so I've got 1 or 2 already made, and then 1 or 2 we'll make together. And like I said, I would spend a little bit more time on my colouring, but that will do. So now I can actually suddenly have that becomes a leaf, that little one there suddenly becomes a leaf within the design. If I grab, look, say, look, I've got so many here because I had a field day. Right, which one do I want? I actually want this one. And then if I put this one up here, I've got a totally different, again, look. So it keeps building it up. So now suddenly what we've got a different vibe. And for once, I'm embracing the white space. So that's exactly what I did. So I took that, and then if I show you what I've done. So I took that idea, and then what I've done is I've actually cut it. I've lost a leaf, get you out there, and put it all together. So I've taken that part there, and where I've tucked it behind, I've taken those little bits off, and I've added them to that flower there, so they look like they're sticking out from the top, because, you know, why bin them? And then, as I said, I've got these little leaves here, and on the rest, so I cut this flower here in half, and that tucked a little bit there. This is the waste that comes from, oh, she says, that die cut there, and I put it against the waist of this part of the flower to make it look like the flower centre. So when I suddenly put, I'm going to glue this little bit in. All right, I'm just going to activate my glue pad because I haven't done it. She says, let's hope there's enough glue in there. Here we go. So now I can tuck to hide where I cut those up. I'm just going to stick in a couple like that. I've got another one here. So suddenly they take on a different look altogether. So let's just stick, put you there and put you going across like that. So we've got the 2 leaves sticking up like that. I then stamped one of the little arrows out, and I thought the little arrow could easily be added to go across there. Or what I could do is, I haven't stamped any of the sentiments out because I'm dreadful with sentiments, so I'm scrounging for something just to show you what I mean in the meanwhile, because it's quicker. So I've got the arrow there, but what I was saying is if I stamped that in green and I tucked it behind, suddenly it becomes another form of foliage, because it has that sort of bottle brush look to it. So I put that there. But what I wanted to do along here was, I'm not going to stick one down, but I'll just pull one out. This is just a sticker sheet. That's the first one I came to. And then across the top, I can have my sentiment. I would probably mat it onto another piece of card, but I've got a space then to actually leave my sentiment. And I probably have, so suddenly the look has totally changed. I'm just reading some of the comments. So it brings on a totally different look, and it's just looking at the shapes you've got and seeing where you can get them from. Hi, I've been out back in time. Oh. So we've got to, but what you could do if you didn't, I mean, I struggle with white space, I'm being 100% honest, but you could have created quite a light inky background, like chosen one of the colours, the pink or the blue, and you could have just done a slight wash background and then layered these up on top. Cleverprints is Emden tonight, just to confuse you all. Oh, the footballs mean definitely not Emma. So, you know, it's looking at the shapes. Also, colouring the shapes in solid block colours changes them again. So that was one of the ideas I had. So I should put my sticker sheet there. So I'm going to tip these here because I will use them. Right. Now, so that was one idea. So once I then matte and layer it, so if I put that onto black and then onto cream, you could bring, if you wanted to bring some more of the black in, like I said, I could use the arrows, but this time I would turn them around so they became like faux foliage, for want of a better description. So that was like the first one. Oh, I'm pleased you say that, Emma. It was a bit worrying when you. So nice, quick, simple, but the colours that you choose, you know, make the difference. So let's put you to one side. Now the next thing I did, I'm going to bring in all the I made for this one, because I did make a lot for this one. And this is a mixture of different stamp sets. As you're on, Emma, you're going to know more than I am. I mean, I can grab the packaging. Let's have a look. What have I got? I've got that one. And I have got that one. And I also grabbed this one. So what I've done is I've taken these square designs here. I've taken both the borders from here and here. And I've taken the main bird image from here. And I've stamped them and cut them out. But what I did with the bird this time is, rather than make it look tribal, I've gone for slight pinks and flesh colours. And then I've added gold paint on the top. So to change the look of the bird again. And then just with an embossing tool, I've just gone round the shape there, very, very lightly, with a very fine, and slowly brought the wings up. So that the bird would, you know, with the wings sitting forward like that. So now the bird takes on a totally different look again. I've got wonderful circle places here that my secret bling is sequins. And I would probably dot a few sequins in there. But if you've got something like drops, you know, sparkles, what is it? You know, the little bottles of things with glitter in. I can't think what their name is. You could add those in as well. So I did that. And then what I did was, with the same bird image there, I've actually stamped it and I've embossed it with gold this time. So it then takes gems. Thank you, Dominique. So it then takes another totally different look, and using gold paint, I've coloured it a light gold colour and then gone over with a darker gold. And just by embossing the outline, it suddenly becomes something totally different. Stickles, thank you, Noreen. Thank you, Susan. Yay. So it now suddenly takes on a totally different look again. And I thought it looked like a hummingbird, you know, that sort of look. That was what I was going for. So if I take these bits off, like I said, I've done some of these already because to stamp them all out and cut them all out and everything like that would be, would just take a little bit longer. So what I'm going to do is, I'm just going to fold the body over. And if I put that in the centre, sorry if my head goes in the way, it's just me. And I just want to shape that round a little bit. And let's bring you up just a little bit. So now the bird has taken on, if I put it on the cream, you might be able to see, has taken on a totally different look just by adding the gold. And I think it's got like a hummingbird sort of vibe to it. Seeing what everybody else does. So I thought it had like a little bit of a hummingbird vibe to it. Oh, thank you, Emma. And as I said, I would probably put, or even some gold sequins in and bring them in just to tie all the different designs on. So that then got me then thinking. So where we did the border strips, I then stamped and embossed those also in gold. Because I thought they then again took on a totally different look. So I could paint these out on gold, because once the paint is dry, I can rub it, and so the embossing powder stands out. So they really take on... it started out as a hummingbird style thing. Love the description. And I thought it then took on a totally different thing. So I've got a piece of card here, and what I wanted to do is I just want to get some gold paint. I'm just going to create a really quick background. I don't want to overly complicate it. I want my paintbrush would be a really cool thing. There it is. So let's just squirt some water in there. Now I could bring the stencils in and I could put the paint through the stencils, but all I want to do is I just want to do a really light background, and I'm not going to be too precise with it because I just want it there to be like a hint of colour. Let's put this one on as well, and I just want a bit of the darker colour. And as you can see, I'm not being particularly neat, so I'm not going to waste the gold on my brush. I'm just going to put it in my palette. I'm going to move that out of the way. So I'm just cleaning the brush. So we've got that there, and I'm just going to just merge the two a little bit together. Now this is going to be my background, and I could water this down even further if I wanted to. But I just want a subtle little bit in the background. And we'll just quickly dry this. It won't take long because there's not much on there and there's not much water. Okay. I'm going to do the back of the card as well. Right, so that's my background. So what I wanted to do was I wanted to have my strips going across, and I did do a whole load of them. And I want to have my bird, he's going to, or she, not sure, is going to sit slightly prouder. So let's get some 3D foam. I did say I'm trying to use up my 3D foam, so and I am desperately trying to use up lots of 3D foam. Right, so that was going to go there. So I just want to plot that there. So my bird, I want to have to go to one side, and then I've got the border strip coming across like that. So I'm going to grab some glue. I don't need my pad for this one. And as I said, it's up, you know, it's up to you whether you coloured these in. I could have coloured these in a pink colour to match. Right now, I'm being a little bit tight with my strips because I know that not all of it is going to be seen. So I've got that there. And I've got that one going there. And then I've got my bird going to go and sit on there. So I'll take these off. Do you know, I hate doing foam pads. I know hate's a strong word. When you're doing a live or on telebox or anything like that, because trying to get the backs off never, ever works. So I thought that's going to go across there like that and stand a little prouder. And then what I'm going to do is the bit that I've cut off here, I'm just going to add there and join it on. I know it's a bit lazy. I could have easily done another, you know, strip because I've got one here. And then I'm going to do exactly the same with this. But I'm going to cut it off as well. And I've got that bit left over. I'll slide that in. So I've just got like a couple. So I'm using that as a border, as a marker. You know, you could do it with coloured card. Actually, if you wanted to do something totally different, stamping that onto black and embossing with white would look cool as well. And then I did the smaller strips because I thought the smaller strips could add a little bit of detail as well. But I want to do something else as well, she says. And like I said, I've stamped already and coloured up some of the everything we've got, only because I just wanted to speed up the process for everybody, really. So now where I coloured this one green, if I suddenly put that in as green, it suddenly changes the look again. I'm messing with those sticky things now. So from where I put the green now, it totally changed the way it looks compared to it just being on the plain card. And that's what I wanted to do with this. I wanted to create there. But I wanted to bring in some of these beautiful flower designs that we've got as well. And I wanted to start adding them to create, you know, to create a different sort of look. She says, here comes some more. Do you know, this would fit in an envelope, but sort of thing, you would squidge it down. Guess who's getting the tribal out tonight? So I've got that. So I just want to put that there. So again, suddenly the bird has taken on a totally different look again. So well, let's colour this one up green, because that was my plan all along. And I'm just going to do the colouring as I did before. And I'm just going to go into the centres, because we've got that lovely twisted maze sort of pattern. This stamp here, these border stamps, if you like doodling, would be fantastic. Stamping rows of those and either colouring or doodling in between would look brilliant. Right, so let's do these quickly. So here we go. So what's everybody else's plans tonight? I'm going to be honest and say there is a beer chilling in the fridge, ready to start shouting at the old telly box. Right, so I've got that then. And what I thought would be nice is to carry on is I can bring in some of the smaller flowers that we've got. And I've got the green there. So I'm going to actually cheat a little bit. Because if you cut your flowers in half, you're technically giving yourself two flowers. Because I can put one peeking up there, and then suddenly I can do one peeking down there. So it works, you know, along those lines. Right, so let's just add those. It's very, very humid here. We've had rain most of the day, and then this evening it's gone very, very, very humid. This morning I felt like putting the heating on. And then today it's gone like, this evening, as I said, it's gone, oh, let's go and get the shorts out again. Right, okay, put that there. Right, so now I just want to put that little bit of green there. And I'm just going to bring in the stamps. I think I need to fill my pot up again. And all I want to do is just bring in a little bit of the orange to match the bird. And put it down there. So I'm just getting two flowers for the price of one. And I'm just going to cut this because I want to have just a little bit of the green. Because I've got a staggered border. I want to carry on the staggered bordered look. So I'm just going to put that there, and I'm just going to put that bit there. Sorry if I'm repeating myself, it's me checking my ideas in my head. And then this flower here I'm just going to have sticking out just from underneath where the bird is. So we've got a little bit there. I'm waiting on Mackie D's for, oh, my worst nightmare. Right, and then what I thought would be nice, she says, looking for them. I thought I had them out. Obviously, I put them back again. Was if I, as I said, I've got to get a sequin in somewhere. Sorry, folks. So, and let's just grab a sequin in. I'm just going to push it so it goes underneath, so it looks like it's the centre. So it's just tying in the gold a little bit more. So I've got one there. You can come away. And I've got one there. Obviously, the glue will dry clear because I put too big a dollop on, really. Right. So that was just showing the bird having pork again. So that was just showing the bird in a totally different light, and using the borders as we would have done if, you know, if we were using card. But as I said, this would look really cool if I'd have stamped it on black and used white embossing powder. So it was just another different way, you know, to show how colour changes things. And it was literally the shapes I've got that influenced what I'm doing, I suppose. Right, I'm just going to put that out of the way. I'm just going to get rid of these 3D foam pad thingies because they'll just bug me. And let's get rid of these. Now, the square I said I was going to do was I wasn't quite sure whether I was going to carry on and build up the design by colouring the square in like gold or bring it on. So you can add as many layers as you want with all the different accent stamps. And then we've got some of the stamps that got all the little bubbles. So I could have stamped them in gold behind. So you can take designs, you know, as far as you want them to be. Because we all say card fronts are really just the start of a journal page, really. So you can then put them on in different ways. So I'm just going to pick up all these sequins. Can't promise that I'm not going to use them again, though. But in the same breadth, I've left enough space to stamp a sentiment, or I could do as a different. I could put sentiment along the top there, or in the top corner. So if I then again just like put that on to the black, and then there, and layer it up, as I said, with the sentiment, it looks totally different. Again, I will stick all these down and do them all properly, and I will probably add a few little sequins around because I like a sequin. Right, okay, let's put the lid on my glue because it's leaking on my plug, which is not a good sign, is it? Right, so then it was thinking of it. Like I said, I have been playing with these for ages. I have ice cream oh. Right, so I've cut out some of Emma's wiggle tags. I am rather in love with the wiggle tags. I just want to grab a card blank that I've got. I'm sure I have. She says, looking for one. I'm going to use cream. Right, so I cut the wiggle tags, and again, I've cut them in 2 different sizes. So we've got that there. Now we could ink the edges and, you know, to the colours. So if I, for example, if I bring in this one here, I could ink the edges to be either the pink or the orange or a subtle bit of the blue just to tie it in. But this is me just creating the design in my head. So I just wanted to show you where I was going. Now we've got this really wiggle. So we've got this really cool face tribal mask. But I think this one to me is, you know, it's something like you can say sort of thing, you know, like be happy, happy for you, because of the huge smile. I haven't coloured it in yet, and what I wanted to do was it's going to go, or she, he, Emma, he, she, or does it not really matter, Emma? I'm just asking it in advance, asking for a friend. Right, I'm just grabbing my twine, which just fell on the floor. Typical. Oh, come here, please. Stop running away. Oh, right, okay. So I'm just using this. My one's just escaped underneath my desk. Right, so I thought what could happen here is it's someone's happy for you. But what I also liked the idea of was these parts here. So if I took a craft knife and made a tiny little mark across each of those, I've now got an area to hide things or put things through. So I thought she could sit there, and I'm just going to, this isn't the twine I was going to use. I was going to use a grey one, but by the time I wrestled with it, it wouldn't be worth it. Right, I'm just going to put a little bit of twine through for the moment, just so you can see the idea. Because like I said, otherwise I'm going to keep you here for hours because I have cut so much up. Right, so I've got this here. And I wouldn't join them together deliberately. I would leave them so they were going slightly off each other, because then I've got the twine that I can use and wrap around and come down. So I thought that she could sit there, and I've got the twine, and I'm just going to put the twine around there. Now, I've just taken this die cut because it was quickest, and I thought that could sit behind as well. Now, I know this is all very tonally the same. I will lift it up a bit there. But then suddenly you've got this stamp here. And to me, if you chop this up and make it look differently, and just for speed, I'm going to go green. I'll just use the back of my pens for now. Are you going to do a peeping totem pole? So, as I said, this isn't my best colouring. I would spend a little bit more, but I just wanted to show you. Like I said, I've got some done, but not all. But I'm trying desperately to embrace the white space as well. And so let's go over there. So now this becomes, when you colour it like this way, Emma made it into a huge, huge butterfly. Like butterfly wings, and layering them up there. It could make huge petals as well. Okay, so let's put you there. So suddenly now I've got a huge leaf, if I wanted it to be a leaf. But what actually I wanted to do with it, and I thought would be cool, is if I take that bit there and cut it away, and I take this bit here and cut it away. I'm going to take the white border off. I should have done that first before I cut these bits out, but that'll be fine. As long as I don't cut my finger, I'm fine. I just get rid of the rubbish. A peeping totem pole. I could easily have done a peeping one, Charmaine. Yeah. Right, okay, let's put that there. So now what I thought was, I've got some of the flower designs that I've just cut. I haven't coloured. As I said, I would create, you can create holes here or use the die. So suddenly if I put this here, I've got this flower here. I've got my nice big leaf coming out the back, hiding. But these parts then become other floral parts. And they become different sort of prongs. So they're on the tags there. And even though the flowers go this way, if you cut the bottom off and put a little bit of glue, I just think outside the... Vanda, I do this all the time. I die cut in white as well. For that reason. So the flower stalk went that way. So if I cut that flower stalk off and then I stick it to the back of this smaller flower, a little bit like that, I've now changed the direction of the flower. So I can now have the flower going in the opposite direction. And the stalk looks like it's meant to be there. So that was going to go there. And then her coloured up with the sentiment. And as I was saying, you get... in the die sets, lots of different arrow sets. So I've got the arrows there. But suddenly, if you coloured that a pink or an orange, or did orange down the centre and yellow down the sides, you've got a different look again. It could be part of a branch. So if I took the arrowhead off there, that becomes part of a branch. If I dangled some twine down and put a flower or a leaf, it has a different vibe again. And then I thought I could have the arrow just tying it all there. And I would have my sentiment then stamped onto the back tag. So, but this tag here, like I said, depending on what colours I coloured these up, would be, you know, what I would actually ink these edges. So as I said, I would then get the twine and have the twine as a feature as well as a feature going round. So it was just to, right, if I lift you up now, please don't move. Do as you're told. Stay put. So it was just really to show you different ways of looking at the shapes, as like I said, so that big one there, suddenly changing it has a different look altogether, and it takes on something a little bit different. So I've just taken it too close, but that was just to give you a different idea about how to layer things up and use them in a different way, because like I said, you could have the arrow going across there, you could have your sentiment on here, or I would have a nice simple sentiment. In fact, in Emma's dies, I'm sure it says a happy heart, or you could just have die cut the happy out, and even the happy could just sit along there. And there's another die, I'm sure, that says dream. You could take the individual letters and just put them going up the tag. So that was just like another idea to show you, you know, so looking at the shapes and looking them at different ways, they take on a different look altogether. She says, so, right, I'll put the U to one side. I will make these up properly and colour them all properly and photograph them. Right, okay. Let's move die cuts. Now, the other thing I wanted to do, like I said, I had to stop myself after a while, is we've got this really cool die cut. As you can see there. Isn't that cool? Oh, I think that's brilliant. Do you want to get a piece of card? Where are you? Let's grab a piece of card. And what I wanted to do was, I wanted to create you see dies differently from me. I just see what's there. I'm Stacey, to be quite frank, that's why I cut in white or cream, if I'm honest, because it helps me to actually, I then can see the shape. So for me, this one here, if you cut off all the different circles and cut them off shorter, suddenly they become like cogs. So you've now got a whole row of different types of cogs. Cut everything off, you've got a whole row of wheels. So it's just looking at the different shapes that are there and going with the shape that you like. Right, I'm just cutting down a piece of card. So what I thought would be really nice here, and I'm filing bits, let's see if this is still damp, yeah, well, I wanted to use the die cuts in a different way. So I'm just going to put a little bit of glue on the back of them, like this. And I wanted to layer them up to give me a textured background. Now, I would put a little bit more glue, and I think I'm going to need to, because I don't think I put enough on in the first place. Oh, are you blocked? Because if you are, I'm going to be cross. You are. Let's go and grab the other one. Ugh. Yay. Oh, I normally store my glues upside down, and I haven't this one. Let's put, whoa, put you back in the pot. Right, let's just squidge you in a bit more. This is just a piece of cut and dry. If after you finish you go and wash it, it'll be fine. Right, so what I wanted to do, like I said, with these die cuts, I just want to put a little bit of glue on the back. I wanted to layer them up to give me a textural background. I've got a few here, and I'm doing them in a similar colour to the card, and I did that deliberately because I want them as texture, not to be but not the focal point. Hi Cheryl. So just got that one sitting there. So right, I'm going to just turn it over and just squidge them down. And I'm going to cut that away. That one I'll keep and use. And I will then fill in the gaps. Now Charmaine will probably be screaming at the screen now as I'm picking all this up and putting it in my bin, because she would keep them and find them for use for a project for another day. Right, so I've got this one here. Cheryl, I'm just doing using the tribal stamps and dies and just showing lots of different, just showing, you know, how I would use them in different ways. So we've got that there. I'm just going to trim that bit off there. Sorry, Charmaine, it is going in the bin. And we've got this one. And you can do this with smaller dies, bigger dies, border dies, strips. If you layer more, if you did this and layered them up, so there was 2 or 3 of them on top of each other, let it dry and then spritz it with a little bit of water. You can use it as like a mock embossing folder. Or you could emboss with them. Right, so let's put that there. So that's just covered that card panel. Move you out of the way, stamps, and then just cut them down. So let's cut those last bits away. Alright, put them in the bin. Let's move that. Right, I'm just going to just rub that down a bit more. Lube-binning things. I knew you'd have to say something, Charmaine. Knew it. Right, so suddenly I've now got a textured panel. And I've got all of that there. And so I've got all that, you know, done there. If you did this on double-sided sheet of, and you like glitter, I'm going to be honest and say I'm not a glitter fan. You could then, where all these spaces are, you could put multicoloured glitter. And you could then have a totally different background. But I wanted to have that as my starting point. And then what I've done is I've cut out this die here. I love this die. I like the dangly bits. So I keep, when I die cut mine, when I bring them out of the plate, I turn the plate upside down so my die cut is still in the die, just in case I want to use all of these bits, the waste. Because they make unusual, especially if you're cutting your dies in lots of different colour card, they suddenly make really good bits if you do shaker cards or, like, you know, confetti, different shapes, sort of confetti. So, you know, especially if it's coloured or double-sided coloured card, you then I'm going to bin this for the moment just for speed. Right, so what I thought would be nice is I wanted to bring in the dies. I've got this one again. And I just thought what would be nice is I don't know whether to colour this. Oh, I'm going to go pink because it's quicker. I need a scrap piece of card to work on. What did I do? Here's one. Actually, no, I'm not. I'm going to go orange. I'm going to go all rebelly and go orange. Right, so where's my oranges? Let's have a look. Want you. I want, where are you? Don't want you, you're pinks. Let's have a think. What ones do I want? Don't want that one. There we go. I want that one. And I want that one. So let's just start here. I'm colouring the die cut. You can colour your die cuts. I love colouring die cuts. Or if it's easier, colour a piece of card like you would make a normal backing. But if you don't know what colour you're working in, or want to work in, cut your dies in white and then actually colour them to match your projects. Especially if you're going to use pens that you've been using before. I'm just going to bring in a little bit of the yellow as a contrast. All right. There we go. I've got that as a contrast. Let's move you. Don't need you. And I just want to have this on the centre here. And I want to keep this centre part of the die, because this comes, this is the waist technically, but they themselves are shapes. And then I've got this already coloured, so I want to sit that on top of there, as you can see, like that. But I'm going to put a few foam pads on because I want to raise it up. Oh, do you know, I've put them away. Have I? No, phew. Right, go away. My computer's saying, do you want to start an update? And I'm going, no. Yeah, it could easily be an orange segment. You know, like put it in a cocktail glass. Do it yellow, do it green. And you've changed the look of it again. It would look cool on a Christmas wreath as well. It's just, like you say, if you kept them with all the little bits inside as well, it really would give the orange segment vibe to it even more. Or a different piece of fruit. And she goes, right, let's do this. And just taking the backing off. And what I just want to do is I just want to grab the backing and just stick it. So I'm using the die cut to give my, you know, to do a little bit of frame. But when I suddenly put it on here, it just gives, just stands out just that little bit more. That would have been fine by itself. I could have easily put that by itself. I could have easily used some of the other flowers. And where I've got, let's pull you off gently. I could have gone over and just put one or two other flowers on. So, you know, so there's, you know, lots of different choices. We've got, I mean, we've got this really cool flower as well, which would have worked. And that could have gone on the top. But I just wanted to do something funky and bright for a change. Right, let's just put a little bit of glue. Now, don't you make a noise now. And I'm going to put that, so it's going to go that way. And that sits there. Now these, I thought, where I've got them, take my lid of my glue out of my mouth would be good. Now these I thought could also be on here because of the shape. If I cut these away, they've got the look of leaves. Or I could have done it that way, and on the bottom there, I can now have a flower. So I could have coloured this in greens or blues, and then suddenly I've got a leaf or somewhere different for the flower to go on. So that's why I cut those out. But we'll just leave that one for there. And let's grab some of these. So now I can just start adding these bits in that I've coloured green. And we might as well, no, I won't use that one. I'm going to use a smaller one, I think. And I'll put a little smaller one. And that's going to go and sit there behind there. I've gone all florally today. So now if I could put the centre of that one in and colour it up in a different way. But what I thought would be nice is to put this centre back in. I know it covers up the detail, but it could go any way I want it to go. And it's changed the look again. So if I coloured that, for example, where's my scrap piece card? Oh, there you are. To match it in. Sorry, this is me and my technical colouring. As you can see. And I'm even using the fat end of the move you that there, so I can suddenly put, to tie the orange in, I can now have that as a centre sitting there on my flower. I think I quite fancy it like that actually. So it can stay there, or if you wanted to, I did have another one, if you wanted to bring in the white, you could leave it white and just have it white there to tie in with your actual background. So there's lots of different ways you could do it. You could take, like we've got that centre there. If you didn't want the flower, I could cut out that circle part of the set and put it in the centre there. Or I could grab some sequins and, there's me now. I can grab some sequins, only because I have trays full. And I'm after, she says, where are you? Not you, I want a pink. There we go. I could put a sequin or a glue dot or enamel dot, or so I could put a sequin in the centre and just leave the main colour there, adding a few more of the little sequins in places. So it's just different ways to do the card. I've got the pink there that I could add tiny little dots of the pink on the top. If you've got your like your Nouveau drops, your stickles, you could put some of those on each one of these if that's what you wanted to do. I'm just going to put that there before I knock them over. There we go. So it was just a different way of looking at them, and I know I've gone very florally. If I put like a little drop shadow there, that changes the centre again a little bit. It takes away the orange and shows you a little bit of the white peeking through. But I could grab, I'm just going to, what's this one say? Oh, just grabbing another one. And then all I would do is just have a simple sentiment down the bottom, and if I put that on, so you could have that on to another piece of cream with 3D foam, and then your black piece of card, as you can see from there. So that would be raised up. So it's another different way of doing it, and using your dies and using small elements in there with just a simple sentiment along the bottom. Or if you wanted to, you could wrap twine around the centre there, and if you wanted to add a little bit more texture. Or I could pop it straight away onto the black, depending on what you wanted to do. I know match is about to start, I know. But that was just, just another different way to show you how you could use your dies and use your stamps in lots of different ways. So I'll just put that there. So we've got that one there, and I will make up this one here with the tags and the happy face and do those. Where's the lid of my glue? Sorry, before it dribbles everywhere. And then we've got the bird, using the bird in a totally different way. And then again, using all the other elements like the wings and the flowers in totally different way. And then, like I said, the bits that I cut off. So, there's lots of different ways you can use the designs. I know it's footy time, Charmaine. There's lots of different ways. I can hear Steve. You can use the designs to create. So don't just look at things and think about the names. Think of, look at the shapes and see, and go for the shapes that you like to work with. I'm like a circle sort of fan, hence why I've gone for all the different ones I've gone for. And then, like I said, use your dies in different ways. Make your dies work. All right. Thank you ever so much for your time. Thank you, Cleverprints, for having me. I will finish making all of these bits and pieces up into proper cards, and I will take some decent photographs and post them on the wall in the group, or give them to Emma to post. Thanks, Emma, for inviting me. Take care. See you all soon. Bye.